friends. Welcome to episode 3 of K-Pop Weekly with Emily Mallon. I'm your host, and I'm so happy you're back. For those of you who are new to the show or new to me, welcome. Happy to have you. This is a big week, so maybe you picked the right week to tune in. This week, I have full reviews of NCT 127 Fact Check. I'm going to be checking some facts. We're going to break down this album. I can't wait to talk about it. The ladies of I-DLE have a new full English album out. Lots of thoughts on this one. And DPR IAN. I had to review DPR IAN. If you know me and my previous show, I'm a huge fan of him. So we've got a lot of reviews, a lot to talk about tonight. First, I want to remind everyone that I'm currently casting for Fandom Face Off. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out last week's episode. I'm trying to change the discussion that fans have around who's the best group and kind of push it more towards why are you so passionate about this group? How have they changed your life? Why should a newbie to K-pop give this group a chance over any other group? So the first Fandom Face-Off, it's Stays versus MOA. Thank you to everyone who submitted. I have some Stays ready to go, but I haven't had any submissions from you, MOA. So I need you, if you're a MOA and you're interested, please go back to episode 2. Check out the details. I think this is going to be really fun and special. Thank you to everyone who reached out, telling me it was a good idea, letting me know that you're interested and you would love to be part of something that's a positive discussion around K-pop. Have the guts to show your face. Get away from behind the computer screen. Get away from bullying and negativity. Let's be positive and talk about why we love these groups. So please, casting is still ongoing. T by T fans, slide into my email, slide into the DMs. I need you. Let me know if you want to be a part of it. We're trying to shoot the first one in November. Thank you to everyone who's been listening, sending me lovely notes. Last week wasn't too bad. I was a little nervous because of that Jungkook review. Anytime you talk about a BTS member and you don't love it and give it a 10 out of 10, I don't have to tell you what happens. I was nervous, but so far so good. It hasn't been that bad. So thank you all so much for not totally attacking me. If you missed my Jungkook review, you want to know what I'm talking about, check out episode 2. There'll be a lot more Jungkook reviews coming. Don't worry. He's got his solo album dropping in a few weeks. But tonight, it's about NCT 127. If you know me, if you've listened to the previous show, New York City K-Pop Queens, I'm a huge fan of NCT. I love these guys, specifically 127. They're my favorite subunit. I've been with them the longest, and I genuinely love them as a group. So I was really looking forward to this album, and I'm super excited to review it. Also, just a little aside, if I look a little tired, Freddie, the mascot, I introduced you to Freddie, my little dog, last week, and Freddie dislocated his hip on Monday night. I'm recording this on Wednesday. He dislocated his hip on Monday, and he has to get surgery. So it's been a very difficult week. I drop him off tomorrow morning. As a mom, I'm a little bit of a nervous wreck. So please send some good vibes and some positivity towards us. Yeah. Looking a little tired. Just saw myself in the camera. Yeah. It happens. But please send some positive vibes towards Freddie. It's going to be an interesting recovery week for us, and he'll be in recovery for a while. He's still going to let you know his favorite songs, though. This week's a little rough. By next week, he's going to be drugged up and happy and on the road to recovery. So thank you all so much in advance for your positive thoughts and prayers and just kind of healing energy sent his way. He's so tiny and fragile that anything like this is kind of catastrophic for his poor little system. So anyways, let's get on with the show, because no matter what's going on with my life, when I get to talk about K-pop, it's the greatest escape. It's escapism. It's joy. I love music so much, and I love being here and doing this. So I want to get to NCT 127. This group debuted in 2016 under SM. They've had some lineup changes, but it's a 9-member boy group. This album is called Fact Check. It's the 5th album. They gave us 9 songs, and this single is called Fact Check. Okay. I think if you've been following me at all, I love this. There's no surprise here. I love this. I think it's great. It's everything you expect from an NCT 127 song. It goes hard. It's full of drama and intensity and bravado. The lyrics aren't Shakespeare. It's the typical, I'm the best, I'm going to tell you why. I'm not mad at that because that's kind of what this group usually presents. That's their brand. And it works. The beat is sick. I love the chorus. I think it's really catchy. It's hard not to dance when you hear this one, or at least kind of have like a little strut in your step. I think this is a good song to pump you up before something you're nervous about, or maybe just a big day. This is kind of a morning playlist song because it really like gets me going. I think it's fantastic energy. And the pacing and the song structure in this one, it feels more seamless than a few of their recent releases, like Ayo or Two Baddies. Something about this one works better for me musically, sonically. I like the sound and I like the transitions. It feels a little more seamless. This is a little easier in some ways, although don't get me wrong. I mean, the song and the beat go so hard, but there's just something here that really works for me. I love Post Bridge, the intensity build with the bass and drums. It feels epic. It feels a tad dark. It feels like we're going into battle. I will go into battle with you any day. I'm with you, NCT. I love this. I like the opening verse when Taeyong says, he has a lyric, bad kid with a strong ego. I love it. Let's set the stage here. These are bad guys. Not bad guys, but like they're the bad boys. They're the cool guys. I think NCT 127, they're always going to be the cool guys. They're so good looking. All 9 of them are really handsome. They're cool. They've got a swagger to them that's different. And they always have from day one. And they've stuck with it this whole time. I love it. Vocally, they deliver every single time. They have such a good mix of voices too. You have the traditional, like, good K-pop voices, but you have different tones because you have the ace. You have Jaehyun. And yes, I called him the ace. I think he comes out of nowhere in this group sometimes. He's very cool and confident and quiet. When he's center, it's a different deal. It's really powerful. He has this like natural handsomeness. Um, Great dancer, obviously, but his vocal tone, he sits down there with like a baritone. And that's not normally what you hear in K-pop groups. So when he comes in, it's always this like, ooh, refreshing, interesting tone. And then, of course, you've got Doyoung and Taeil and Haechan, who are phenomenal. Vocally, this group's going to deliver every single time. On Fact Check, they did. It's a fact. They're amazing. I love Taeil on the chorus. I always love him. I also really like the second half of the chorus where they hold out the ooze. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sing it, but I like it. Again, sonically, this works. I like this arrangement. I like the production of this song. This is another hit for me from NCT. This is a banger. I love it. Also, let's just give a shout out. I'm going to do it for the music video anyway, but Yuta, yes, Yuta. Oh my goodness. Okay, come through, Yuta. His rapping is fantastic. He's so good in this. I was like, he kills his part of the verse and it feels so natural and in the pocket. He's in the pocket here. So shout out to Yuta. Really happy that they utilized you in the right way on this song. I thought it was great. Let's get to the music video. You guys. I love it. Obviously, I love it. It's an NCT music video. You know, it's futuristic sets. We're kind of in like Neo City. But really it's about them. It's about the guys. I absolutely love it. I'm getting a little bit of like Super M jopping vibes from this, at least with the darker scenes in Super M. This feels like superhero type stuff and it works. I'm going to get to the choreography here in a second. I know we all want to talk about the choreography for many reasons. But I want to talk first about the styling. I thought the white outfits, when they're doing choreography, they're simple, but they work. The background is so loud. You have so much going on. You don't need loud styling. So I actually thought the styling really worked. I also really liked the athletic looks, like the athletic pieces, the kind of jumpsuits. They were like red, white, and blue. They all looked great in that look. Obviously, the black stuff worked really well. I liked the earphones, like Taeyong's earphones with the spikes coming out. Not a huge fan of Mark's bedazzled do-rag. I really wish SM would retire putting those on people. It's time to retire the do-rags, SM. It's not. Otherwise, I thought the styling was good. I thought the styling really worked. Of course, Jaehyun's in a black suit, though. It's so funny because no matter what the styling is or what everyone else is wearing, they're going to put him in a black suit. Like, no, you're going to be the hot, sexy guy in a black suit. I'm not mad at it, but I just find it funny that, like, video after video after video, the first time he appears, he's like in a black suit. It's very on brand. It's on brand for him. And I wonder if that's him or if it's just like they decided this is going to be him. It works. I'm happy we got to see Tail. If you don't know, he got in a motorcycle accident and fractured a major bone in his leg. So he's got surgery and I think plates and pins and stuff. It's a complicated recovery process. So there's no way he can do this choreography, but he was in the video. So you could see him and you still got FaceTime with him, which I'm really, really happy about because we don't have that much time left. Not to be Debbie Downer over here, but enlistment is coming up for a few of them. And Tail is number one. He'll be the first one to go, presumably, because he's the oldest. So I'm happy we at least got to see him in this music video. Can we talk about the choreography? I love this choreography so much. Taeyong choreographed it, so no surprise because he's great at everything he does, and this choreography is perfect. I love this choreo, you guys. Like it's so good. It works so well for the song. It's cool, it's rhythmic, it's fun, it's swaggy, it's everything they are. Jungwoo, my boy Jungwoo, kills his part. He kills the choreography like it's insane. I've always said that he dances like rent was due yesterday, and he has kept that going in this music video. He is insane. I loved seeing him. All of them, though, were so good. And I liked this music video because they all got a chance in the center. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like every single one has a moment where they're in the center and where you're getting to see them. Every person gets a moment and gets their shine. And I think that's really special and really cool. So I liked the choreography. I thought the choreography was super, super effective. That ending choreo on the bridge, really impactful. That was really, really cool. Watch the performance video though. You guys have to watch the performance video. I've watched it a million times. My friend Meg, who was on the first episode, we've been texting about it. The performance video for this is phenomenal. I love performance videos anyway because even though these music videos are so cool and like there's so much going on in K-pop music videos, a lot of transitions, a lot of sets, a lot of costumes, and there's just a lot going on. I love the performance video because that's what moves me in this genre. I love to see the formations and the choreography and the actual performance. This performance video is so freaking good. You guys have to watch it. I love the footwork. Like there's a part, I guess it's maybe the second part of the chorus where they just do this like great little rhythmic footwork move. I am here for this. I'm so, so proud of all of them, but especially Taeyong. Taeyong killed this choreography. He killed it. I want to talk about the rest of the album, though. We can talk about this all night, and we should. Fact Check is amazing. It's so, so good. But they gave us a full album. We need to talk about it. There's 9 songs. I'm going to give you my album picks and kind of talk about why, and then I'm going to rank the songs on this one. So, Angel Eyes. Oh, you guys. I love this song. I love this song so much. It's different. This one kind of shocked me. This is not like normal NCT 127 because a lot of times with them we get these kind of bombastic, swaggy, I'm the man singles, and then you get jazzy and R&B B-sides that are really good. This one is like an 80s almost hairband kind of ballad, or I think it is that sound. And it sounds like an 80s hit. It's like this happy, bright, joyful music, and I'm not used to it. I was like, "Oh, wow. This is a different sound for them." And it works so, so well because there's a little bit here of not being the cool guy. There's a little bit here that's vulnerable and maybe even like cheesy, for lack of a better word, but it's the best. It works. It's so, so good. It's pure. I love the bridge. I love when they peel back the music. I love when they do this in any song. It's an old trick. We all know it. But you peel back the music, you just keep the beat in, and it's like the audience cue, right? It's the part it's the part of the song where when you're at the concert, everyone's clapping over their head. It's just like the best fun part, right? They do that in this one. I loved it. I thought, oof, I know that trick and it's a good one. It's a call to action from your audience. This sounds like an 80s hit. I love it. I love it. And then when I was breaking down, well, who's singing? Who is singing here? Like, whose voice is that? Jung Woo gets a lot of parts in this, and it makes me happy because he's so slept on. I think every moment he gets, he kind of capitalizes on. He joined the group late, and I think he's worked really, really hard to show like why he's in the group and why he's such a valuable member. And we know that with his dancing. Jungwoo comes in and just slays, but he doesn't get a lot of singing parts sometimes. Like in Fact Check, he has a pretty minimal singing part. In Angel Eyes, it's like he took over. It's like he's the main vocalist, and it's so freaking good. It's so good, and I'm so proud of him. I love it. And on top of all of that, they did a track video, a music video, and they're on the roof. It is the cutest thing I've ever seen. It's so like heartwarming. I'm obsessed with this one. I think this is a really, really good one. The only thing I would say, and this is it's one of those songs I'm not sure if we need a rap verse, but, and this is a huge but, and I know if it was someone else, maybe I wouldn't be saying this. But when Taeyong does these cute raps, it's so adorable. That voice Taeyong has like a couple different voices that he uses when he raps. Like the tone will change. And when he does like the cute ones in a love song, get out. Get out. I'm obsessed. I'm in love. Obsessed. It's so cute. I love this song. I think Angel Eyes, it's perfect. The thing that's interesting though, so I got a feeling of nostalgia. There was something, and maybe this is just me, let me know, but there was something with this one that made me feel a little bit sad. There was like a little bit, I was a little bit sad with this one. maybe that's because it's like the 80s sound, or I don't know, but I did feel a little nostalgia when I was listening to this one. So, and I think maybe it's because I'm all right, this is an aside, but I feel like as a K-pop fan, I'm going through this thing where all of my faves are enlisting. All of my groups aren't active. My groups when I got into it were BTS, Monsta X, and NCT 127. So it's kind of the end of an era for me as a K-pop fan. You know, it's welcoming in new groups, and I have, as you know, but there's this feeling, and with this one, seeing them on the roof, seeing them together, happy, it felt like there was a tinge of nostalgia there for me, a tinge of goodbye, that I'm not ready for. I'm not ready to say goodbye to you guys. No, no, not yet. So that's Angel Eyes, like, got to me a little bit. And Taeyong and Mark participated in writing it. So, not surprisingly, um, they have their stamp on this one. Space. I love Space. It's the second track on the album. It's like funky, jazzy, completely different vibe from Check That. But I think back to back, they totally work. This is the type of song that's usually found on 127 albums. So it's like it's a more jazzy kind of R&B vibe, very slick, fits the vocal line so well. And I like it when they say let it breathe, let it chill, like we're doing too much. Hey, we all need to hear that sometimes. And I don't know, I just really liked this one. I thought it's a great sounding song. My other picks, Love is a Beauty, R&B ballad. Nobody does an R&B ballad like 127. Really, these SM groups, every SM group, boy group, I should say, because that's who I'm kind of referring to when I say that, but they do R&B ballads so well. The girl groups can, no shade to the girl groups either, but the boy groups always have these R&B ballads that are better than any other label, any other group. They're just so well done. I love the piano. Vocally, come on. Haechan's the first run he does, goosebumps. It's so nice and it's subtle. There's restraint there with these singers, which is also very refreshing, because they could all scream over each other on every song like this, and they don't. But because they're so talented and trained, you hear it. They don't need to like scream for the second half of the song. And I always appreciate that. On this one, Taeyong, Mark, and Taeil also participated in writing this one. I swear when I picked my favorite songs, I did not look at the songwriters. It was a pleasant surprise, but Taeyong is again adorable in this one. Any song where Taeyong just sings I love you, I love you, I love you over and over again. Perfect. Perfect. I want to make that my alarm every morning. Just that part of Taeyong saying I love you. Actually, I might do that. Just had a genius thought. It's a great song. It's really, really good. And then the fourth song that I loved off this album is Misty. It's another ballad and it's back to back with Love is a Beauty. This one has more of like a jazz feel with the piano and the melody, where Love is a Beauty is R&B and it's pretty bare instrumentals. Misty has a lot more going on to it. It's jazzy. I love the melody in the chorus. It's very smooth and there are unexpected notes. Like, that's one of my favorite things. When you think a song's going somewhere, when you think the melody feels like it's going to go here and it goes there, I love that. I love when the note goes low, when in your brain it should have gone high, or vice versa. There's something like so exciting about that to me. And you have that in this song. It's interesting. The melody is interesting. It's a little different. Vocally, these guys knock it out of the park. Are we surprised? No. Vocally, it's fantastic. So those were my standout tracks from this NCT album: Angel Eyes, Space, Love is a Beauty, and Misty. I also obviously loved Fact Check. Love it. So let's get to my biases. In case you don't know, I bias Taeyong. I love Taeyong. Strong bias, not only in 127, but the whole NCT universe. Taeyong is my number one. My record, I have 2 records. It's Jungwoo, it's Jaehyun. There's a lot of other men in this group though that are always pulling me. Doyoung he's been killing it. He has been killing it. I don't know if like signing as an ambassador. He's an ambassador for Dolce & Gabbana, I believe. His latest photo shoot, it's like you can see his confidence growing and you can see that like he knows he's super hot. I feel like before maybe he didn't realize it as much. But something has happened recently where we're in trouble, you guys, because he knows. He has figured it out. He knows he's hot and he is coming for me, for you, for everyone. He's a problem. Not on my bias line yet, but again, in this group, there's a lot. I also want to give a shout out to Johnny. I think Johnny did a really nice job in the music video and everything I've seen. I liked the blue hair. He looked great. All the members did a great job. I'm a big fan. I'm a big NCT 127 fan. Okay, it's time. It's time for my rankings. These are my favorite songs from least to number 1 from NCT 127's new album. The album is called Fact Check. Let's get to it. Number 9, Real Life. My number 8 song was Je ne sais quoi. Number 7, Parade. Number 6 was Yacht, although shout out to that sample. I really liked the Grandmaster Flash sample. If you guys didn't know where that was from, there's something very familiar in this song. That's Grandmaster Flash. Nice sample. Number 5, Misty. And number 4, Love is a Beauty. Number 3, Space. This was hard for me to choose between these last 2, but my number 2 song is Fact Check. So my number 1 song off Fact Check, the 5th album from NCT 127, it's Angel Eyes. I love this song. It's so beautiful. And I'm just proud. It's always nice when one of your favorites releases an album that works and that you really like. And I love this one. I think you guys killed it. You knocked it out of the park. It's disappointing to see how SM has handled this comeback. There's definitely stocking issues and shipping issues. I'll be real with you. I went to a store here in LA this past weekend. I went to Hello 82 LA. It's a big K-pop store. It's fun. They have like a lot of events there. People that work there are super nice. I would definitely recommend going if you live in LA or if you're from LA. But anyways, I went because a fan group was having an NCT 127 like release party. So I was really excited and they did a great job. Like they had cutouts of a couple of the guys and pictures everywhere and they were playing NCT music and a lot of photo card trading. So as we talked about in episode 1, photo cards are massive in K-pop and there was a lot of that happening. But I was like, well, can I buy the album? And they said, we don't have it. And they weren't the first store that told me they didn't get it in time, that SM didn't ship out the albums in time. That's insanely disappointing because think of the sales they're losing. If somebody who didn't pre-order, who didn't already pay for it, is at the store listening to the music and thinks, I want to buy this. Well, you can't. So it's pretty frustrating. I think SM does a phenomenal job with the music. They pick great songwriters and producers. They have taste. They usually put the right songs on the albums. If you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of a lot of SM groups and what they do on the music side. But on the business side, to do stuff like this is infuriating. It's infuriating. And it's like, I hate to say this, but I kept thinking, would they have done this to Dream? Would they have done this to Rise? Because I don't think they would. I don't think they would. I think they do this thing where they only invest in the younger groups. And the group that's made them tons of money in recent years and is so popular, they just stop trying for them because they're going to start enlisting. Like think about EXO. EXO should have been touring the United States, should have been world tour. They should have been touring hard when BTS was over here touring. 2017, 2016. Like they should have been here touring 2018, but instead they didn't. They didn't. Instead, they didn't invest any money into promoting EXO. And they put the money behind NCT 127. Amazing. But you put all that money to get them here. And now you're like, oh, well, like they haven't started enlisting yet. This is a huge album. This is a huge opportunity. And you completely drop the ball. And it's not fair, not only to fans, I'll eventually get the album. But it's really not fair to those 9 men who are working their asses off doing all of this, and the fans can't even get the album. There's not enough in stock. You didn't ship them in time. Whose fault is that? Who didn't make enough albums? Who didn't plan the schedule? It's just like, I don't understand how these companies operate like this and continue like this, how their investors don't see this. It's just, NCT deserves a hell of a lot better than the way SM handled this rollout. It's a great album. It's such a good album, but they deserve support. And they better support them for the rest of the year, for next year, support the subunits. I think a tour is planned for them in 2024. I'm freaking hoping. Please, please, please come to LA. Please, please. I want to see them so bad. Sorry, that's my rant. That's my rant for this week, but it just like really makes me mad because I hate when the business side of creativity F's things up so royally for the artists. And in this industry, they have such a short time frame. No. Makes me mad. Anyways, besides that, it's a great comeback. I'm really proud of them. Listen to it, show these guys love. They're one of the best groups out there. I love NCT so much, and I love this sound and this swag. I always, I go towards hip hop, R&B, jazzy stuff. Naturally, that's where I'm interested musically. So this stuff always speaks to me, and I think this comeback is phenomenal. But my favorite song, it's Angel Eyes. Go watch that music video. I guarantee you'll smile. They look so happy. They look like they truly love each other. And it's just cute. And yeah. Okay, time to move on. Sorry, I had to do a quick water break. I lose my voice doing these like monologues, but obviously I have to do it. I have to give you my opinions. I'm also noticing that my glass skin routine is working a little too well. Like, girl, my face. It's good, but I'm like, oh God, my face looks shiny. I guess it's my glass skin. Thank you, Korean skincare. The whole video thing is still new to me, so I notice stuff like that every once in a while. Bear with me. Let's move on, though. I want to move on because we have a lot more to talk about. Let's talk about IDLE. It looks like GIDLE, and some people will say GIDLE, some people will say IDLE. I was told it's pronounced IDLE, but then I've heard them say GIDLE. So let's just say both are correct and it's totally fine. If you're not familiar with these ladies, they're a 5-member girl group. They debuted in 2018 under Cube Entertainment. Originally 6 members. Soojin left in 2021. Now, under American label 88 Rising, they're based here in LA, they've released their first full-length English EP titled Heat. Heat gave us 5 songs. I Do was like the pre-release single. So that was a couple months ago. And now the single is I Want That. I'm not sure if I want this. I hate to say it, but this really does feel like a rip of La Seraphim. I'm talking about their hugely successful Eve, Psyche, and the Bluebeard's wife. I always screw up that title, but if you're a K-pop fan, you know that song. If you know, you know. And that song killed. That song has been really successful for them. A lot of different remixes. It's a great song. I Want That feels so similar to me. And it's not a horrible song. Like, this isn't bad. I like that heavy house beat. It's catchy. I totally get it. But I don't think this is the best use of IDLE's talent. I don't think for this group, this is showing what they can really do. And I'm not sure if this is going to be enough to get the Western audience attention. If you're releasing an all English album, it should be good. It should draw attention to how good and talented this group is. When I think about that, I think about like Monsta X, because The Dreaming to me is just one of the best pop albums that came out in recent years. It's not a K-pop album, it's all in English, but that's just a great pop album. So if I heard that, I'd be like, wait, what else can these guys do? This isn't bad, but it's not great. It's not great. And whereas that album showcased the talent Monsta X has, the singing and the emotional vocal performance, the chorus isn't even rapping, it's just talking. I mean, it's a song I could have plugged another group into. And I-DLE, they have such good voices, and they're kind of one of the rare girl groups that writes a lot of their stuff. They do have a hand in creating their own music. And it was clear to me they didn't create this. And I'm going to talk about the album here in a second, but it all, this just, it's not horrible, but it's not the best use of talent. Ryan Tedder was the co-writer, so he's really diving in and getting involved with as many K-pop groups as possible. If you don't know, he's from One Republic. He's a great songwriter. He's done a lot of songs that are fantastic. And he recently worked with T and was very disappointed that that song with T and the Jonas Brothers didn't get to number one. I'm just not going to say anything. I have a lot of thoughts, but sometimes, you can't say something nice or positive. You just keep it to yourself. So I'm going to keep that one to myself. But anyways, I think I Do, which was the pre-release, was a much better single for me. I liked that one. This one sounds just too similar to La Seraphim. And because that song didn't come out all that long ago and it was a massive hit, you're going to get those direct comparisons. So I just don't think this was the right choice. Music video looked big budget. They looked beautiful. There was a lot happening. It was there was a lot happening. It was like heartbroken, unhappy women get revenge. That's what I took from it. I think it could have been a little clearer, the storyline, but they looked gorgeous. And the sets were really cool. I liked the boat and the wedding. And I mean, there was a lot happening here. This looks like they spent money, and it was really a beautiful music video. I liked it. I don't know if it went with the song necessarily. I would have liked to see more choreo. The choreo looked really cool. They're great dancers. But I think overall the music video worked. Blonde hair. Speaking of work, that blonde hair on Yuki, yes, I loved it. She looks great. Really, they all looked so beautiful and pretty. So the styling in the music video, they looked gorgeous. I liked all the looks. I thought it all really worked. Like the wedding scene, get out. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I just feel like for this type of song, I don't know. I guess it was kind of like badass, like they're killing this guy, so it kind of goes with like a badass beat, but it didn't totally work for me. So now I want to talk about the other songs on the album. They gave us 5 songs, and these are all in English. My pick by far is I Do, the pre-release single. I loved it. It has this really interesting quality to it. It reminds me of like David Lynch Twin Peaks. It has this retro, really, really interesting sound. So I love that song. It's different than what other groups are putting out right now, and it shows off their voices more. So to me, this is a no-brainer. I Do is the single. I loved it. I didn't see it promoted that much, but honestly, there are so many releases in this world. It's hard to keep track of. But this came out a couple months ago. The music video is about them kind of like being aliens, and this human teaches them how to live in the world. Very reminiscent of Jin's Astronaut, Jin from BTS, if you know that song and music video, which I'm sure you all do. I think they missed the mark on this music video. I think they really, really missed the mark on this music video. You could have done something so stylized and cool and interesting and a little bit of a little darkness mixed into the match that would have worked. This music video just didn't work for me at all. I think they were trying to be funny. I think it was, I don't know, it was bizarre. The creative direction for both of these releases, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And, you know, I said last week, I talked a lot about how Jungkook is now an American pop star, because I think he is. I think he's an American pop star, good or bad, however you look at that and what you want for him or his career. That's not a good or bad thing to me. That's just kind of the vibe. At least with that music video, it was very much an American pop star music video. If you're going to really push an all English album and hire Ryan Tedder and Meghan Trainor to write these songs, I think maybe the music videos need to be a little more geared towards an American audience, and maybe some of the humor in the one for I Do didn't quite land. So creatively, missed the mark. But I think song-wise, that song is by far my favorite. The rest of the album, it was fine, but it all kind of sounded the same, except for Tall Trees. Tall Trees is a little different. Flip That, they really went there. It wasn't my favorite, but I think kudos for trying. Kudos for trying something else. I just think with I-DLE, they're so talented. I saw them at KCON this year. They killed. They're great. But I'm not sure if this is them. I'm not sure if all of this really fits who they are. And I would have loved to have their stamp on the album. Like, that's my biggest problem. To me, this album sounds like a bunch of Americans made it trying to make money off a K-pop group. And, you know, to not have I-DLE's fingerprint here, as a longtime listener, it shows. It was very obvious to me they didn't write any of this. So I just wish that the creative direction was different and the label and the team were more intentional about what they were trying to do, because I doubt their intentions were, let's do a song just like La Seraphim. Why would you want to copy a really successful recent song? That makes no sense. So, you know, kudos to them. I don't think this is a disaster at all. I think there's some good stuff here. I Do Again is a really interesting song. I genuinely like it. The music video just didn't vibe with me. But in total, I'm not in love. Not in love with the album. And I don't know, I'm guessing they reached out to songwriters. The way it normally works, you reach out and you say, submit for I-DLE, submit me some songs for I-DLE. So people will have songs already written, or they'll, you know, get something together. I don't think they like hired Ryan Tedder and said, write a song for this group, and this is what he came up with. I don't know, but I do think if you guys watched kind of the behind the scenes of the song he did with T and Jonas Brothers, he didn't seem to have a clue who T were. He didn't even know who they were and how big they are and all of their accomplishments. And I'm seeing that a lot with these Western collabs. When Jungkook was recording, they couldn't believe how nice he was, and he's really humble, and oh wow, they don't know who these people are. They haven't spent the time to get to know K-pop and to get to know the artists. And I just kind of want to scream at them. Every K-pop group doesn't sound the same. Just because this is a girl group doesn't mean they're like La Seraphim. You know, every group has their own color, their own texture, their own presence, sometimes their own storylines. You can't just write these generic English language songs and think it's going to work for every group. So it's a little bit frustrating. That's why I kind of went, ugh, at the beginning of this. It's frustrating. I think these groups deserve a little bit better. Whoever picked these songs, if this was A&R, somebody dropped the ball. Somebody dropped the ball here. And I don't know. Sometimes it helps to have people on staff that understand all of this stuff. Somebody dropped the ball with this release. It doesn't work. And when you have girls that can write, let them write. You can translate it. You can work together. But when you have talent who's made it this far because of their own talent to shut down their creative process, that would be like Stray Kids put out an English album and they have 0 credits on the whole album. That's what this is like. Why would you do that? Because you think a song by Ryan Tedder is going to be more successful? I'm sorry to tell you, but younger fans don't know who that is and they don't care. They just want IDLE. They want the group that they love. So, like, again, come on, guys. Team A&R, whoever. IDLE deserved a little bit better. Like, that's my theme tonight, it seems like. But IDLE deserved a little bit better. I think English, Korean, whatever language they would put the album out in, if they were involved, it would have sounded better and it would have worked better. That said, I Do is a great song. That's a great song and it did work. And I wish that would have been promoted a lot more, because to me that's different and unique and it's interesting and they sound good. So that's my pick. Okay, time for my rankings from IDLE's new English language EP. Let me look at my list here. I don't want to screw this up. The EP is titled Heat, 5 songs from least favorite to favorite. Number 5 was Flip It. I appreciate what they tried to do. It just didn't work for me. Number 4 was Tall Trees. Number 3, Eyes Roll. That's the one that Meghan Trainor was involved with. Number 2, I Want That. And my number 1 song, by far my number 1 song on this release, is I Do. Congratulations to IDLE. There's some good stuff here. I just wanted more of them. I wanted more of their stamp creatively. I would have loved to have them write a song on this album, but I Do is a great song. Also, biases. I've got to mention my IDLE biases. My biases change a lot in girl groups. Unless I really relate to one and like one, I end up kind of going everywhere based on the release, based on the music video. In this group, I've liked Minnie for a long time. I like her voice. I like her vibe. My record, though, it's Yuki. Yuki looks so cool. She killed it when she was center in the music video, when they did show a little bit of the choreography. Yes, I'm here. I'm here for it. So those are my biases. That's my bias and bias record for IDLE. Time to move on. I want to talk about DPR IAN. As you know, this show is about K-pop, but I also want to talk about people kind of on the fringes of K-pop, or maybe not in K-pop at all, but it's Korean music and some might lump it in. I want to give as many people a chance to have their music talked about. And most of you are familiar with DPR IAN. DPR IAN, if you're not familiar with the world of him, buckle up, get ready. He was originally a K-pop group member. He was a rapper and the leader of a boy group called C Clown. They disbanded in 2015. And when the group disbanded, he started this kind of creative group with his friends. It's called the Dream Perfect Regime, DPR. And the other members, Cream, Live, Rem, they all have DPR in their name too. So a lot of times, DPR Live and DPR IAN, they've been touring and doing all these shows. This is the 3rd solo release from IAN. It's called Dear Insanity. He gave us 7 songs. 2 songs were released prior to the album, Peanut Butter and Tears and So I Danced. The album release single is called Don't Go Insane. Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay. The drama of this song. The start, it's really bare. It's just some piano chords and his voice. It pulls you in. And then you get this like dark, foreboding organ. The intensity is ramped up. It's really cool. And he's singing Bless My Heart When the Wolves Take Me Away. Oof. Ooh, there is drama going on here. It's so interesting. I think it's like at 45 seconds, the beat finally drops. And yeah, this chorus, the chorus brings a really fun element to like the madness of the song. The bass line, you got to talk about the bass line and the bridge. And then there's like heavy breathing. It's so interesting and intense. And then there's the synth mixed in. If there's one thing DPR IAN does, he mix it. There's a lot happening in his songs that you don't hear a lot of. like I feel like if somebody else did that, you'd be like, wait, what's happening? Or what is this? He's doing, it's like operas almost. There's such beauty and texture and so much happening. It's really, really cool. And if you've seen him live, I've been blessed enough to see him live. He plays the bass. He'll come out and play the bass. So when I heard this kind of bass solo start during the bridge, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. This is stunning. It's stunning. It's so interesting and unique and cool. He's the most slept on artist out there. DPR IAN is the most slept on artist out there. And to me, it's not even close. Like this song, Don't Go Insane, it's so innovative and cool and interesting musically, lyrically, everything about this. It's phenomenal. Like this should be a massive hit. Everyone should be obsessed with it. And I love stuff like this and I love what he does because I feel like every time I'm hearing something new, I'll be like, oh my God. And then the strings come in and here's the organ again. And what is that? Is that his voice? Like it's so interesting and different. It's the opposite of like formulaic pop music and K-pop. So there's something really refreshing every time DPR IAN drops. And this one, another hit, my man. It's so good. Let's talk about the music video. He describes himself as a visual artist. He sees everything first. He sees the songs in his head, and he's a filmmaker. He's an editor. You see that with him. Like his stuff, these are short films. They really are. This one you're continuing from Peanut Butter and Tears and So I Danced. And those are a continuation of the Mido and Mr. Insanity storyline from his previous albums. So there's a lot happening. And then this album is a prequel to those two albums. It sounds like a lot, and it is. But he's created his own world. He's created this entire universe throughout these three albums. And it's so deep and interesting and unique. But what I love about it, you don't have to know. You don't have to be invested in the storyline to enjoy the songs and to enjoy the music videos. I think if you are, it makes them all the more interesting and exciting. But that said, in this music video, it's visually gorgeous. That said, I don't want to spoil too much and like break down the storyline, but I will say it's visually stunning per usual. I love the choreography. I love that he does choreography a lot because he comes off as this like, super handsome, super cool guy. The music isn't K-poppy. He's not afraid to break into dance for these music videos and for these songs. And it's so refreshing to see a guy like him who's not trying to look cool, who isn't afraid to do what needs to be done. And with these songs, you need to dance during that chorus. And his choreography is always like so rhythmic and cool. He embodies everything about the song and what's going on in the music video, which isn't shocking because this is all him. He's creating everything. It's true artistry. I got into K-pop because of the storytelling. BTS, they were my gateway drug. And I loved their storyline. I couldn't believe this beautiful storyline was weaved throughout their music videos. DPR IAN is a phenomenal storyteller. His storytelling throughout these three solo albums, it's next level. And I want to talk about this a little bit because the music videos are so different and they feel really intense and beautiful. And to be honest, sometimes scary. It's scary. And he has these two characters, Mido and Mr. Insanity, and they're part of his personality. Like he's kind of named them because he's very open about his bipolar. In some ways, I feel like these music videos are a direct glimpse into who he is and into what it's like inside his mind. in him doing this, he's embracing what's happening. He's embracing what's going on. He's not shying away from it. It's fascinating and it's real. And I think his honesty helps a lot of people. And he's not shying away from it or trying to act normal. He's showing us who he is and what's happening in his world and in his mind and what it feels like when Mr. Insanity takes over or Mido's creeping in. It's really fascinating. So I think for a lot of people, he's helping, and he's helping awareness. He's helping someone who doesn't have experience with this see it through the eyes of someone dealing with it. And you can talk about it, you can tell people, but when you show people, when you show it to them, I think it's so impactful. And the way DPR IAN has done that throughout these 3 albums, throughout his career, I'm just really, it's huge. It's really, really important. And it's really cool. And it's, we're lucky that we get to be in his world. Okay, enough of that because I'm talking so much, but I want people to realize what he's doing and why it's so important. And I think why his fans are so enamored with him and really love him and want to protect him. It's just a beautiful soul showing us what's happening. It's really, really cool. I want to talk about the rest of this album, though. Let's get back to the music, because on top of the amazing visuals, the music is phenomenal. So it's hard to pick like a favorite. I don't have my traditional picks from Dear Insanity because the whole album is phenomenal. So I'm really going off of the sounds that grabbed me the most. That's it. But really, the whole album's worth a listen. I thought Bad Cold was interesting because it has there's elements in that song, in the music, that reminds me so much of a song by the Psychedelic Furs. If you guys are familiar with the Psychedelic Furs, there's a song called Love My Way that Bad Cold really reminds me of. I love that song. So obviously it worked for me here, that sound and that feeling. Welcome to the Other Side. Ooh, ooh. Those strings are so beautiful and so intense. The lyrics set the plot, and then you have this interesting loop in the chorus. Again, he's always doing something that kind of makes my ear stand up and go, wait, what's happening? Oh, wow. Vocally, though, there's a part in this where he's bringing David Bowie. There's a part that goes like, forgive my nightmares that climb through your shadows. And when he sings that climb through your shadows, it's so reminiscent to me of David Bowie. Really cool. I loved it. And then I love that 2 minutes in, we get this fun beat, and then it's back to chaotic strings kind of tying together with his vocal part. The electric guitar solo to finish things off. It's a complex track. It's really complex, but it works. It's so cool. Love it. So I Danced, that was previously released before the album released. It's great. Of the 2 pre-releases, this was my favorite. Here he kind of takes the valve off, lets the pressure off a little bit. These songs are heavy and intense, Welcome to the Other Side and Don't Go Insane. There's intensity happening. With So I Danced, there's a break. It's a fun sound with interesting lyrics. It's fun. It works, but there is some darkness that comes in there as well. It's kind of the darkness never stays away for too long. He's having to deal with that all the time. And that feels like musically, this is just a metaphor for what his life is like and what he's living. It's so interesting. I could talk about it all night. Peanut Butter and Tears, it sounds like vintage DPR IAN. It's a familiar sound. I like it, but it wasn't my favorite track. The ending track on this one, Violet Crazy, it's so pretty. It's so cool. It's this dreamy ending. And, I think a lot of this, if I'm being honest, can feel like a nightmare. A lot of it, it's heavy, it's scary. Where did this voice come in from? And Oh, wow. And even the fun parts, you're waiting for the other ball to drop sometimes. Violet Crazy, it's like you're floating. It's the happy dream sequence. And it feels kind of like floating through purple clouds, but not like all light purple ones, like different colors, different textures. There's a texture in this song that grabbed my ear. And the more and more I listen to it, I love it. So that one for sure is a pick. Again, the whole album, you have to listen to it. You have to give DPR IAN a chance. I think he's so criminally slept on because he has this visually, his music videos are like nothing else. Sonically, the music is so different and interesting. And then personality wise, he's this really handsome, nice guy with an Australian accent. Like he has everything going for him. And I just wish more people would listen. I have a feeling he's not going to be slept on for long. I think he's at a really interesting point and kind of cusp in his career. I hope I'm right because he deserves it. I listened to the Travis Mills show yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with who that is, but he was interviewing DPR IAN on his Apple Radio 1 show. So I tuned in live. First of all, I want to say like shout out to Travis Mills. Like I obviously I was tuning in to listen to Ian, but Travis Mills was a great radio host. It's rare to hear people these days that are able to draw in the listener, ask unique questions, make it about the person they're interviewing while still being really personable and involved in the conversation. It was so refreshing to hear that interview of all the like press that DPR has done for this, promotion. I thought, oh dude, you've got to go back to Travis Mills' show. That was really cool. They both like shared a love of hardcore kind of punk bands, and Travis turned him on to one from Australia. It was just a great interview where I felt like I knew more about DPR IAN walking away from it. And as a fan and as someone who's followed his career, I feel like I kind of know everything. I feel like a lot of the stuff that comes out now, I'm like, all right, this was great. So a little aside there, a shout out to him. Travis Mills, great job. It was just a really nice interview. And again, it's like he's this super nice, interesting person on top of all of this creative stuff that's just like phenomenal. So if you haven't listened, if you haven't given him a chance, I highly, highly, highly recommend DPR IAN. He's a star and he deserves the shine. It's time for my rankings from DPR IAN, Dear Insanity. From my least favorite to my favorite, but honestly, the whole album is no skip. You should listen to it in order. It's phenomenal. It's gorgeous. After you do that, go back and listen to his other two because this is a prequel that's telling this whole story between Mido, Mr. Insanity. Phenomenal, but I've got to rank them. So number 7, Famous Last Words. That's the intro. It's beautiful, but it's not as involved maybe as some of the other songs. Number 6, Peanut Butter and Tears. Number 5, So I Danced. Number 4, Bad Cold. I liked Bad Cold. Number 3 is Welcome to the Other Side. I've got a flair for drama and I loved this one. And then it was hard for me to decide, again, similar to NCT this week, it was hard for me to decide between 1 and 2. Number 2 is Violet Crazy. My number 1 song from Mr. Insanity. It's Don't Go Insane. I love this track. I love the music video. This whole project, it's insanely good. I'm so proud of DPR IAN. I'm so proud of you. Great work. If you haven't checked him out, check him out, you guys. Let's move on. The Fact Music Awards happened this week. I'm not going to give you a full recap. It's pretty easy to find online and find here on YouTube. But 17 took home the biggest award, the Daesang. It's the first time in years that BTS haven't won it. So it's a true changing of the guard. I want to talk about the performances, though, because that's what I do. I review music and performances. Of course, Stray Kids, I loved them. Their performance was great. They're the current kings of K-pop, and they know it. Like their performance at the Fact Music Awards, the stage presence, the confidence, it's so clear. Also, Top Line is such a good song for award shows. It's such a like kind of we're at the top. It's great. S Class is such a hard song, and their mics were on the whole time. Their mics were on for Top Line. Their mics were on for S Class. So if Stray Kids can do Top Line and S Class back to back with their microphones on, there is no excuse, zero excuse why these other groups are out here lip syncing. I'm tired of it. I don't want to watch you lip sync. And it's frustrating for me because some of these groups, I love their songs and I know that they can sing. So it's like, well, then why are you lip syncing? Is it because the choreography is too hard? You don't have the stamina for that? Because, like, I would rather hear an imperfect live vocal than watch people lip sync and do the same performance that I've seen on all the weekly shows over and over and over again. It's not interesting as a fan. It's not fun to watch. A live performance should be a live performance, and that includes turning the microphones on. Anyways, so I thought Stray Kids killed it. Killed it. Proud of them. Other performances that were fun or that I enjoyed. ZB1 In Bloom. I just love that song. I love that song so much. I love the choreography. I love it when they're like, whoa, whoa. I love that group. It's fun to see them. Of course, Rise, the other fifth generation boy group that I'm obsessed with. They looked great. But the other performance that really stood out to me besides Stray Kids was Treasure. Treasure at these award shows, they kill it. The mics are always on. They're so aggressive and hard, and they attack the stage. I wish that they toured here in the States. I wish we had a chance to see them. I hope one day they do, because I think their live performance kind of blows a lot of the others out of the water. Treasure is so, so good. They're really slept on. YG hasn't, in my opinion, YG hasn't promoted them in the way a lot of other companies have promoted their groups when it comes to a Western audience. So I don't think Treasure's hurting. I don't think they're hurting for fans. They're not hurting for money. They're huge in Asia. They're doing really well. Selfishly, I just wish that we got a chance to see them over here. Selfishly, I'm just like, can you tour in the United States and make sure to stop in LA for me? Thank you. But they killed it. So those were my kind of standout performances from that award show. Now let's get into the news. Lots happened this week. I'll try to go quick. Jungkook is doing another collaboration with a Western artist. This time it's Kid Laroi and Central C. So I don't think that's surprising at all, but it comes out Friday, the day that this podcast is released. I may give you my thoughts quickly on it, but since his album is coming out, I can't do Jungkook reviews every week. So interested in what that one's going to sound like. Another Western collab is coming out on Friday, and this time it's Stray Kids. Stray Kids are collaborating with Lil Durk on his kind of remixes. The other artists on the remixes are Burna Boy and J. Cole. So to be kind of on a remix with J. Cole would be dope. Also, like, Stray Kids have talked about how they're huge fans of Lil Durk. I mean, this is someone that they've been, wanting to work with. So excited for them. Excited to kind of hear that. I will be talking about it next week. No shade to Jungkook. I just haven't reviewed Stray Kids since the show started. Now we've got to get to these comebacks and all the reviews I have coming down the line, because it's a lot, you guys. October, November are the busiest time for comebacks. Rise comeback on October 22nd. Sun Chan kind of ruined that and announced it when he wasn't supposed to, but that news came out today. October 27th, Rise comeback. La Seraphim, we were just talking about them. Their comeback is also October 27th. aespa comeback November 10th. You know who else has a comeback November 10th? Stray Kids, Rockstar is coming November 10th. YG's new girl group that they've been plugging nonstop, Baby Monster, they're debuting in November. Hypen comeback is coming in November. And Golden Child, we haven't heard a lot from them for ages, it feels like. They have a comeback in November. Get ready. It is going to be insane. I'm trying really hard to budget my time. I don't want to do 5-hour episodes, and I don't have time to give full reviews every week of more than maybe, let's say, like 4 groups and albums. But I will be sure to get all your favorites in there. If I don't do it the week it comes out, I will be doing kind of a what I missed episode like I used to do with New York City K-pop Queens. So I will be reviewing all of this stuff. You just have to wait sometimes depending on what that week looks like. Pentagon. 5 members of Pentagon left Cube Entertainment this week. The 7 years was done. They've been a group for 7 years. And we all know in K-pop, 7 years is like, that's when decisions are made. That's when these groups decide if they're staying or not. And Pentagon, 5 members decided to terminate the contract with Cube. Yehwan, Yanan, Yuto, Kino, and Wooseok have left the label. So it's interesting because then they released like an anniversary song for the fans. But then those guys made sure to come on social media and say, the group's still together. We've just left the label. So I hope that Pentagon continues to release good music. I was just talking about them last week when I reviewed Dawn. Talk about slapped on. Dawn and Pentagon. They're so slapped on. And speaking of Dawn, listen to this. So I just reviewed Dawn last week, told everybody you should get into him. He's so good. He's so talented. Like I couldn't wait to see what else he was going to put out because this album was phenomenal. Well, he just announced on his, I think it was his Instagram, that he's enlisting today, that his civil servant duty in the military starts today. No, no, I just got into you and I was so excited about it. I was late on this one and I'm mad at myself, but he gave us a lot of great music. The Narcissus album is phenomenal. If you haven't checked out my review, check out last week. Highly recommend. But a lot of news for Pentagon this week. Chungha has signed with Jay Park's More Vision label. So she's got a new label. Let's see if this one supports her a little bit better than the last one. I always thought Chungha was really talented, but she was maybe a little mismanaged. So this will be interesting. Back to Jungkook. I can't stop talking about him. His first solo concert in Seoul will be on November 20th, and it will stream for fans around the world. So that's nice. Happy birthday to Jungho, the power vocalist from ATEEZ. It's his birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to all of the... Are we in Libra season? I think we are. We're still in Libra season. Happy birthday to all the Libras watching and listening. Happy birthday to Jungho. I hope he's healing from his injury. He's been injured a lot this year. I was lucky enough to see him at KCON, and then he had to fly home to deal with his, I believe this time it was a knee injury. So I hope you're healing well, and happy birthday to you. Next week is a big one. Next week, I've got Extraordinary Heroes for you. I love this group. I want to talk about them. I've big, heavily anticipated comeback. And then T by T come back next week. It's only a couple days away. I'm really excited. So really quality music. Maybe I'll do someone else. Maybe I won't. You'll have to tune in to find out. But if you're a T by T fan, we need you. Please reach out if you want to do Fandom Face Off. It's a way to get someone who's never listened to K-pop into your group. It's positive. There's no tearing down the other group you're competing against or anyone for that matter. It's all positivity. I want to change the dialogue around K-pop. You cannot like something and not be mean and nasty and make fun of people and dox people and all that stuff. I really want to work on changing the dialogue and just celebrating what we like and being able to say, I don't really like that. Here's why it didn't work for me without vicious attacks. There's no need for that. That's not why we're here. That's not what we're going to do on this show. I've said I didn't like stuff already. Hopefully I don't think I was mean about it. I kept it honest and gave my reasons why without tearing people down. There's no need for name calling and all that stuff. So don't be afraid. This will be a friendly conversation. It'll be fun. You get to meet a special guest judge. They're the ones that are going to decide. And it's a way to represent your fandom in a positive light, to show everyone stays and MOAs can get along. We don't hate each other. I'm a huge stay, But I also really like T by T. I really like T by T. I buy their albums. I support them. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us out there. Let's uplift these groups and have fun. So please shoot me an email or slide into the DMs if you'd like to be part of Fandom Face Off. If you've reached out and you haven't heard back from me, please don't worry. No issue. I'm just collecting information for casting, figuring this out, waiting to get a MOA contestant so I can plan the production date and get back to you. So if you haven't heard from me, please don't worry. I haven't made any decision on who's representing Stay yet. But thank you for reaching out. I really, really appreciate you guys reaching out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the show this week. Again, I apologize if I was maybe low energy or look like crap, but anyone who has a dog, when you have to rush them to the ER and you have to the anxiety and the tears have been a lot this week. I'm very optimistic that little Freddie will be fine, but I have to wake up bright and early tomorrow morning to take him for surgery, and it's going to be a challenging weekend for me. So hopefully everyone's having a better week. Hopefully you're all having a good week and you're healthy and happy and safe. And I really appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in again. Thank you for being part of this with me. I love you and I appreciate you. And I'm so happy I get to do this every week. It's early in the journey. I'm still figuring stuff out. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for being here since day one. I love my day ones and I really appreciate you. There's a lot more coming. I'm setting things up. So thank you for bearing with me in these first months and sharing my love of music. I love you. And I will see you next week. I will talk to you next week. We've got a big one next week. So make sure you come back for those reviews.